guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on the plants that sit at each corner of this brick patio. So you see one here, one right over there behind the cozy coop, and on the other corners. I also might bring out the pruners and lift this redbud tree canopy just a little bit because it's getting a bit hard to see the container tucked into that shady spot. It feels like so long ago when we planted these up, and I used a mixture of shrubs, perennials, spring bulbs, and some spring color like pansies and violas. So the centerpiece is an Arctic Fire yellow dogwood, and then I surrounded it with hellebores, and they're a red variety. They're not all the same because I couldn't find that many of the same variety, and I think there's 4 per container. So we've got 20 plants to pop out of these containers and put out in the landscape, and that's going to be the biggest portion of today's project. But if you take a look here, you can see the dogwood foliage. It looks really happy, and they bloomed beautifully, and I think I noticed the blooms more having this shrub in the container as opposed to the ones that we have out in the ground. And then you can see the hellebore foliage just popping out there looking so fresh and glossy. And I'm surprised, like this one over here, it's in the shade right now, but only for a very brief moment in the morning. We're fairly early in the morning right now, and then it's full sun for the rest of the day. And everything still looks really good. I was getting a little nervous because I kept pushing this project off, and we really do need to get these out before it gets super hot. It's supposed to be 94 or 95 today, so I'd also like to try to get this project done early before it gets really hot. And this one right over here, full on morning sun and then afternoon shade. It's just kind of an interesting deal because all 4 of these get different light throughout the day. And that one over there, unless we lift that canopy a bit, is pretty much in the shade all the time. Look at these hellebores though. I'm just so encouraged by how great they look. And I don't know how much of a project this is going to prove to be because they have been in the containers for several months. They're probably fairly rooted in and rooted together. Hellebores do not like a whole bunch of root disturbance, so I knew it was going to be a little risky. Usually though, I've transplanted hellebores and I've had them in containers a lot and have moved them out with fairly good success. So I'm not too stressed about it, but I have let it go a little bit longer than maybe I should have. And once we have all of the plants out, I've got more of those green mountain cone boxwoods. We got a few in a little bit of a larger size than we used out in the cut flower garden. And I decided to do that in this area because 1, this area is very formal and I like it that way. And 2, I needed something that could handle all the different light that all 4 of these pots get. So I don't even know if that I'm going to fuss with flowers around the base of them today. It might be something I add later, or maybe we'll get to it today. I'm not sure. But I just want to get the stuff planted out, boxwoods in, and then I can check that off the list for now. And this area in the center that we recently planted up is doing great. Look at this container. I've been enjoying this mix of plants so much. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, so at this point, I just need to go empty out my gator. I left a bunch of stuff in there from yesterday. I need to grab a shovel, an auger, some biotone starter fertilizer, and a tub for the pansies and violas because Bethany might want to take those home. Okay, I'm going to try to remove the pansies gently first. Okay, that's all the pansies. So all we have left in here are, looks like 4 hellebores and the dogwood. Oh, way easier than I thought it was going to be. First one is done. Here's the container, and the soil is largely untaxed in terms of, you know, you can get down in here and work it. It's not all bound together by roots, which I'm thankful for. So I just went ahead and made a well in it, and we'll bring the new boxwood over and plant it, top it up with fresh, probably put some biotone starter fertilizer in there just to charge it up a bit. But here are the plants looking awesome. They came out so easy. So pansies and violas right here, and I always put the tub on the side so I can stack the root balls together. I'm also going to toss the bulbs in, and Bethany's going to take all of these home and plant them at her house. So now we have 3 more to do. this hellebore is. Okay, they are all done. I got the red bud trimmed up. That looks so much better. Oh my gosh, I feel like that space can breathe again. I do not have room enough in my gator to load up all the debris though. I'll have to do that later. Look at this load. Oh my goodness. So I think we'll run to the back of the pond area and get all the hellebores in the ground first. Also, do you hear the chickens? Hey, what's going on in there? Hey girls. I think they must be laying right now. Also, here's Bethany's take for the day. Get them all watered in before it gets hot. This pot doesn't have a drain, so gotta be a little bit careful. All right. So look at this space back in here. And now that there are so many trees, we do get quite a lot of shade back here. You can kind of look around through these trees, sweet little pathways through this area, and then we come up along the back side of the pond here. So I would like to still have some pretty things back here because we are going to have a path. I mean, you see the gator sitting here. I think we'll have some sort of path through here and then possibly like some flagstones through this area, kind of angling you back up toward the front of the pond. So yeah, I'm just going to dig 16 holes with my auger and we're just going to pop them in. And I don't even know, because I didn't identify each individual one, which variety is which, but I think I had 2 of each in each container. And they look fairly similar, so I think they'll be very pretty all together. Full of rocks back here. Okay, all 16 of the hellebores have been placed back here. And what I did was just tucked them underneath areas where I knew that they would most likely receive shade in the afternoon. We're gonna have to come back here and take a look because right now, you know, we're in the morning, so the sensation box elder that's right here is shading this whole area. But so long as we put things on the north or east side of the shrubs, we should be good back here. So there are 3 at the base of this Austrian pine. I can't remember, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 at the base of the spruce, 2 right here. There are 2 here. These were the most wilted, the most irritated at me for moving them. And then I popped 1 just right at the base of this rock over here. So through this space, you can still, you know, get around here if you wanted to walk that way or walk through here. So we'll just make sure to keep these well watered and we'll get them, you know, hooked into our drip system. Everything else back here is on drip, so it'd be easy just to tap into that because since they're all near a tree, then I know that there's drip tubing very close by. But it's fun to have an area for all of these, and I love to go on winter walks or, you know, early spring. Well, we go on garden walks all year round, but particularly those things that bloom early in the season, I love to come out and see those in bloom, especially when they're tucked away in little areas that could otherwise be forgotten. It just seems like this magical little placement whenever I stumble across things in other people's gardens like that. Okay, now we've got our 4 yellow twig dogwoods, which dogwoods are actually one of the most shade tolerant shrubs. Like, they like full sun and they'll be the most productive, the most colorful, they'll bloom the most in a full sun situation, but they can also handle quite a lot of shade. You just don't expect them to bloom as much, but they're just a nice green shrub. So I'm gonna go scout around. I kind of have a couple ideas, but I just am not sure where exactly they're gonna work out. So let's go take a look and get those planted because those root balls are pretty dry. Those big pots are on drip, but they get it every other day. And I think they got it day before last and the drip just hasn't run in those pots yet today. So they're pretty dry. Dogwoods tend to like pretty consistent water. This is kind of where I'm wanting to put them. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe like 1 here and then 2, 3, and 4. So they're kind of in this swoop around this tree. I think the yellow twigs right here would be gorgeous in the wintertime. And it would be a nice fluffy sort of cover for the hose link. And then we can come in with something maybe a little bit more evergreenish right here, maybe like a boxwood or a yew or something that will be a little bit more of a block for the hose link. But we most often pull the hose this way, which dogwoods are very forgiving of that, and we pull it that way, so those wouldn't be tremendously in the way. It's going to kind of depend on how easy the digging is. I'll try the holes nearest the tree, but these root balls aren't very big, so I think of anything that I could plant here other than perennials, it'd be a good thing. I don't know, let's give it a shot. This spot's a no-go, so I think we're going to take the drift around the other way. Okay, I had to take the drift in the opposite direction. I got the first one planted, no problem. I went through like, it was a tiny little root and that was it. When I tried the next hole, there were 2 roots running kind of crisscross each other and they were big. Like over an inch, probably under 2 inches, but still significant sized roots. And I didn't want to have to cut through 2 of them. I might have cut through 1 to plant something like that, but not several. And there were lots of little ones in that hole. So I decided to take the drift in the opposite direction. And I think it looks really nice. So I'm just utilizing 3 in this area. We need to go find a spot for the 4th. You can see I still have a slow hose dripping on that last one. Dogwoods, they just like a lot of water, and this soil is so dry. So got them watered in really, really well. I kept filling the hole with just the exposed root ball, and it just kept soaking down, soaking down, soaking down. So I just want to make sure they stay very saturated, given the fact that we just ripped them from their cozy little homes that they were in. But these should grow in this area. I expect them to be on the 4-foot end of things, so they'll mask the hose link, and I think that'll look nice and provide just this little soft bank of color right here in the wintertime. And here's our last one, so let's go find a spot. It's still really pleasant out here. I don't know what time it is. It might be 10 o'clock or so. But yeah, it's still feeling pretty good this morning. That's the nice part about high desert. Like, I can complain about the heat, but we still get down. Like, we have a night that's 43 coming up, several nights in the 40s. So it really cools down and gives everybody a break, and it takes all day to get up to the high temperatures. Okay, this is a possibility, this area here. Got some red dogwoods right here around this hose. Also, while we're here, look at all of these geraniums. Do you remember when we transplanted those? They look awesome. And the oregano, ornamental oregano. Okay, last dogwood right there. I think that's going to be so pretty. So we're back by the pond area. We've got a 9 bark right here, and you know that will lose its leaves during the winter time, but this will have the bright yellow stems right there. Oh, we do have a few red twigs around the pond. They're dotted throughout, so we'll have some red interest, tons of evergreen back here, and then our very first start of the gold interest. Okay, so now we get to go gather up the boxwoods and get those planted up in the pots. Whoa, those are heavy. My word. Okay, Aaron has come over here to help me because those are heavy.
Boxwood number 7 cone.
Yeah, 7-gallon. Green Mountain cones right here. They're absolutely beautiful. But I think Bethany just watered them. She's over there watering those boxwoods right there. So they are very, very heavy. I had a heck of a time getting them up into the gator. But I think if you hang on to that, Aaron, I'll get the pot off. And then I've got a well in each pot already.
Okay.
They're all done, and this speaks to my formal garden loving heart. I just love it. Look at these. Oh my gosh, they add so much structure out here. I love the cone shape, and then we'll have sphere shaped boxwoods right here in the center. I just think that's so pretty, and it's going to add so much in the winter time, you know, because there are a lot of boxwoods down here, boxwood hedging, but to bring some of that up here I think is so nice. We could put Christmas lights on them if we want to, and these naturally will want to grow about 5 feet tall by 3 feet wide, and I think in a container this size they would do it. Oftentimes if you put them in a smaller container it kind of restricts their growth size or their ending size. But these are so huge in their soil all the way to the bottom that we should be good. And they're hardy down to a zone 5. We are a zone 6. It's usually safest if you're wanting to winter over plants in containers to choose things that are rated 2 zones lower than your growing zone. So we're only 1 lower on this one, but boxwoods we typically have really good luck with. And I do have 1 extra that I'm going to pop out in the garden. So if something happens to one of these, I can dig it up and bring it here and we'll be about the same size. And that's the one thing about formal gardens that's kind of hard. If you're doing a formal hedge or something that's balanced or matched, you know, if you don't plan to have extras on hand just in case, if you lose one, it can be tremendously hard to find something that's about the same size. And I kick myself. Can you see? Yeah. The Julia Child tree roses back here that are phenomenal. There was 1 extra. at the garden center when I bought these. And I couldn't think to myself where I would want to put it. I should have just bought it and put it anywhere. It doesn't matter. Because if something happens to one of these, there's no way I'm going to find one that's as glorious as those are. I mean, look at them. I know that's not what we're doing right now, but look at these. The last time I showed you, there was just a little bit of bloom activity. Now we're seeing quite a bit more. And they're just so pretty. I like their scent. I like the structure of their blooms. And look at this one. This one was laying flat after our last windstorm. So thankful it's not wilted or anything like that. It's looking really good. But looking back up from this direction, looking at the boxwoods, it's awesome. This whole space, being able to actually see the pot is super helpful. And I like that these are big enough boxwoods to make a huge impact. They're the right size for these containers, but there's also room to plant some things around the outside as well, which I'm not going to do today, but I thought, you know, I do have some extra geraniums in the greenhouse and I might just try them just to see. I mean, I'm not out anything because I started those from seed and I've got a whole bunch of extra ones. So I could just put those in and see how they do this year. And that way I can gauge next year what would actually thrive in this area. If there's one container where the geraniums just are pitiful and they don't look as good as the others, then I can learn from that. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. But I also like the look of them just clean and simple as well. And you guys, that is going to do it for today's project. I'm so happy with all of the things. All the things we got planted out. 20 things. 4 of the dogwoods, 16 of the hellebores, and the fact that they all made it and doing great and they look good where they are at is so exciting. And then getting the boxwoods in. I just love it. It kind of brought this area together for me, and that was my intention the whole time, was to put some sort of evergreen element as our anchor in all 4 corners, something that looked the same, that was just, I don't know, just very cohesive and formal. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.